Have you ever had this moment where your English is totally fine in your head, but the second you need to speak, everything disappears? You know the words, you understand the meaning, you can follow the conversation in a movie. But when it is your turn, your throat gets tight, your mind gets loud, and suddenly you feel like you are back at beginner level. And the worst part is, people around you might not even notice you are struggling, but you feel it. You feel slow. You feel tense. You feel like you are not yourself in English. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something really important. This is not because you are bad at English. I see this every day. I teach adults who are smart, capable, experienced, and successful in their own language, and then English makes them feel small. Not because they do not know enough, but because speaking is emotional, speaking is social, speaking is real time. There is no pause button. And when you care about how you sound, your brain starts trying to protect you. It says, be careful, do not make a mistake, do not look foolish. And that little voice creates pressure, and pressure kills fluency. Over the years, I have noticed 5 things that show up again and again in English learners who struggle to speak. And I am not saying these to judge you. I am saying them because once you recognize them, you can finally stop blaming yourself and start changing what actually matters. The first thing I see is that a lot of people try to speak perfect English instead of normal English. Perfect English is slow. Perfect English is stressful. Perfect English is you trying to build a sentence like you are taking an exam. But real spoken English is messy sometimes. It is quick. It is flexible. Native speakers restart sentences. We change direction in the middle. We say things like, wait, let me say that again, or what I mean is, or how do I put this? And nobody thinks that is a problem. That is just being human. But so many learners feel like they must speak in full, clean sentences with perfect grammar and the exact right word. And because of that, they do not speak at all. They freeze. I have students who can write beautiful emails, really professional, really clear. But in a meeting, when someone asks a simple question like, what do you think? They panic because they feel they need the perfect answer in perfect English. And then they say something very small, or they stay quiet, and later they feel frustrated. So let me tell you what helps. Give yourself permission to be normal. Simple is not childish. Simple is powerful. If you can say, I think it is a good idea, but I am a little worried about the timeline, that is strong English. That is real communication. And if you make a mistake while saying it, but the message is clear, you did your job. The second thing I see is constant translating in your head. And look, translating is not a moral failure. It is normal. It is how your brain survives in a second language. But if you translate every sentence word by word, you will always feel slow because you are doing 2 jobs at the same time. You are thinking in your language, and then you are converting it into English. And while you are converting, the conversation moves on. Then you feel behind. Then you feel pressure. Then you speak less. It becomes a cycle. What breaks the cycle is building a small set of ready English thoughts. Not memorized speeches, just ready ideas. Like, actually, I am not sure. Let me think. Or, in my experience, it depends. Or, can you say that one more time? If those phrases are automatic for you, you stop translating everything. You start living in English for short moments. And those short moments grow. That is how people start thinking in English. not by forcing it for hours, but by getting comfortable with common patterns that you use every day. The third thing I see is fear of being judged. This one is huge, and it is not only about language, it is about identity. In your own language, you are quick, funny, polite, confident, maybe even persuasive. In English, you might feel less intelligent, not because you are, but because you cannot express your real personality easily. And that gap is painful, so you protect yourself by speaking less. You avoid phone calls, you avoid small talk, you keep your answers short. And on the outside, it looks like you are quiet, but inside, you are working so hard. Here's what I tell my students. Most people are not judging your English the way you think they are. They are busy thinking about themselves. And even if they notice your mistakes, it does not automatically mean they lose respect for you. Usually, they respect the effort. They respect the clarity. They respect that you showed up and communicated. Confidence does not mean you never feel nervous. Confidence means you speak anyway, even with a little fear. And just quickly, if you have been feeling this kind of pressure when you speak, I would love to hear about it. You can subscribe if you want more episodes like this. And if this connects with you, like the video, and leave a comment about where you struggle most. Meetings, small talk, pronunciation, whatever it is. I read those, and it really helps me make content that actually matches your real life. Now, the fourth thing I see is that learners practice English, but not speaking. They do apps, they watch videos, they read, they listen, all good. But speaking is a physical skill. Your mouth needs practice. Your timing needs practice. Your brain needs practice making decisions quickly in English. And if you are only consuming English, you are preparing, but you are not training. This is why some people understand everything, but cannot respond naturally. They have knowledge, but they do not have automatic speaking habits. And the fix is not more grammar. The fix is small speaking reps. Talking to yourself while cooking. Explaining your day out loud in simple English. Practicing short answers to common questions. Recording a voice note and listening back, not to judge yourself, but to get familiar with your own English voice. The goal is not to sound like a native speaker. The goal is to sound like you, comfortably, in English. And the fifth thing I see is something people rarely talk about. Many learners attach their self-worth to their English performance. When they speak well, they feel proud. When they make mistakes, they feel embarrassed for hours. They replay it in their head. They think, why did I say that? That was stupid. And that emotional reaction makes speaking feel dangerous. Your brain learns, speaking equals pain. So next time, you avoid speaking again. If you want to become fluent, you have to normalize mistakes. Not because mistakes are good, but because they are part of the process. They are proof you are using the language. A child learns to speak by making thousands of mistakes. Nobody calls the child dumb. We call it learning. Adults deserve that same patience. You are not supposed to be perfect while you are still building the skill. So if you take one thing from this episode, take this. Fluency is not a grammar result. It is a confidence result. It is the ability to stay calm while you speak imperfectly. It is the ability to keep going when you forget a word. It is the ability to use simple language and still express real thoughts. That is real English. That is what works at work, in travel, in friendships, in daily life. Next time you are about to speak, try this mindset. I am not performing. I am communicating. I do not need perfect English. I need clear English. And I can always fix it while I talk. Because that is what native speakers do too. And if today you feel stuck, if you feel like you are not improving, I want to say this clearly. You are probably closer than you think. Most intermediate and advanced learners are not missing knowledge. They are missing comfort. They are missing ease. And ease comes from repeated real speaking moments with less pressure and more permission to be human. Keep showing up. Keep speaking. Let it be messy. Let it be real. That is how your English becomes yours.